Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over pigs. How do you beat your enemy year? If you're in a snake year, you need to first understand your enemy. That's the first step. With no matter what Chinese astrology sign you are by year, you should understand your enemy more than you understand yourself, because your enemy is going to actually make you understand yourself more. Pigs, you guys are very open-minded, very generous people. You wear your heart on your shoulders. You guys accrue a lot of good karma, and that's going to come up later in the video again. And as a result, you guys are considered to be one of the more wealthier signs, accompanying, I'd say, the goat and the rooster. So with that being said, the snake more so uses the mind and not the heart. It's reptilian, whereas you guys will a lot of the times use the heart and not the mind, and be very pure, very unfiltered, very generous, and almost naive to a certain degree, sometimes to a point of immaturity. And I don't say that to insult you. I'm saying that to actually give you a heads up on what to expect for your enemy year. If you have these traits bestowed upon you, or you're somebody who actually is like, yeah, that's me, what you have to understand is that this year is going to try to grow you up a lot. It's going to try to mature you by making you go through treachery from people, by making you question yourself and your own principles and merits. And it does that by way of circumstances and people, because that's life in general. It's just circumstances and your harmonization with people for the most part. So when you question these things is when bad things, of course, happen, because you lose a sense of self. And that's the main thing you don't want to lose, is your sense of self and your principles. Even if you're somebody who gets scammed by people or lied to, you shouldn't change your ways in accordance with that. You should just adapt your mentality so that you understand how to get those people out of your life faster. That's pretty much it. The snake is obviously very much mind and not heart. So you're gonna have to think like that this year. You have to think in terms of objectivity and not just subjectivity. In the sense of like, oh, this person's my family member, or this person's my significant other, or this person's my cousin or relative, so they wouldn't do XYZ to me. No, so you have to think more in the lines of like, no, this person has displayed these types of traits for the past 10 years, so pattern recognition, they'll do this again. Or they've been acting funny lately or weird, so I should actually observe them more. You have to more so take the labels away from people in order to win as a pig this year. Another big thing for you guys is that if you have an enemy year, you have to use multiple ideologies to pinpoint when exactly bad things would happen to you, necessarily algorithmically, and then you can sort of pinpoint it and then go around it. It's like when you are going in the city, wherever you are, whether you're America, Canada, Europe, whatever, you're watching this, and you're going on your most major highway in your vicinity. Of course, when you map yourself out, use your GPS, you look for traffic alerts. That's what a transit report is for. The transit report is going to show you the traffic alerts of what's going to happen that year. So I'm not even saying you can get it automatically online. You can just put in whatever your rising sign is. That's what you should use, not your sun sign. That's something a lot of you guys don't know. Use your rising sign and just plug that into a Google calculator and just say Taurus rising 2025 transit report. And you'll get a whole bunch of internet website results that'll show you different things about your transits, about what to expect when it comes to health, love, relationships, family, domestic, all these things. I do it, of course, as well, but I just want you guys to be self-sufficient on it. So I'm saying Google it yourself, and then you'll be able to see that. And you can see what your transits are for the year, like what planets are conjuncting what, and then what to expect based off of those effects. So that way you'll be able to say, okay, in May and June I should lay low. In August I can take more risk with money. In September I should stay away from family, X, Y. Like you start seeing how things actually play out. And then you'll start seeing that's how your enemy year is able to attack you. It's not necessarily that your enemy year is something that's just 1 year out of 12 years that's really bad. You can have multiple years that are pretty bad based off of transit reports. So you should definitely know what those are. The next thing you should definitely utilize that overpowers both of those is numerology. So when you understand simply what your life path number is, you then can use that and look at the year you're in and say, does my life path number get along with this number? Are they enemies? Are they in the same trine? Are they friends? Do they have similarities? What's the differences if they're enemies? The biggest danger I'd say you can have is if you're an enemy life path in an enemy Chinese astrology year. That's where things can get a bit scary for you. So if you're like a life path 7 in a 9 year, That's scary for you, because if you're a pig as well, then you're going to run into a whole bunch of issues. So you definitely should be looking at your transits more and be looking at how you should move methodically. You should also look at your personal year next and then see how to move based off of that. What is your personal year want you to do? Are you in a 1 personal year, a 3, a 5, a 9? What are you in? You got to figure out what algorithms you're working with, and then you can use those to maximum capacity to figure out how to get through it. So to break it down, it's a very short video. Look at your enemy sign, all its details. Look, if you don't know much about the snake and you're a pig, you need to learn everything you can about the snake. Even watch like animal videos about the snakes themselves, the animal itself, how it moves, how it operates, how it calculates, how it makes its decisions. You want to adapt your mindset to a snake, but not in the, I guess, urban dictionary term of like snaking people. But you want to more so think of in a snake of like being long-term, being patient, being resilient, not being caught up with your feelings, looking for a philosophical way to navigate your life, and having a lot of wisdom. These are things that are going to give you mental fortitude as a pig that you might not necessarily have, because you use more of your heart than your mind when it comes to chakras or just vibration overall. Next thing you should be looking at, like I said, just to recalibrate for you guys, is that transit. Look at what times of the year is supposed to be the worst for you when it comes to money, relationships, etc., and what times are optimized so you can maximize both. Go certain times of the year, and then be in the publics for some times of the year when it's actually good for you to do so. Because the whole adage behind, oh, let me just be low-key my whole enemy year, is like, no disrespect to the people saying that, but that doesn't necessarily work, right? You can't hide from life. If you have bills, if you have to network, you have to go out, you have things to do. So you have to figure out, yeah, I'm in an enemy year, so you look at it like a year of war. Look at when is the best time to do certain things and do it. For me, I'll give you guys an example. I'm a Virgo rising. In August of last year, I started doing long format videos. Started making more money via readings. I went harder in the last quarter for crypto, and everything worked out. Of course, Bitcoin went to over 100 US, so that was great. But things worked out because it was already in my transit report to go harder at the last quarter of the year. The first half of the year, stay low key. So I just did shorts. Everybody's like, oh, you don't do videos no more? No, I just doing shorts. Didn't even give anybody an explanation as of why. So this is what I mean, guys, is you have to do things. Don't explain it to people. Just do things based off of your transit and map out your life in that way. So sometimes you're low key, people don't know why. Sometimes you're high key, people don't know why. Sometimes you're acting weak when you're strong when you're weak. You got to think of things philosophically. If you're going to be like the snake, Art of War, Machiavelli, 48 Laws of Power, Laws of Seduction, there's a whole bunch of books you can read. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can look at to sharpen your mind, because the snake is a very mental and pretty much arguably the smartest sign in the Chinese astrological space. That's true. So you got to be more intellectual. This fight isn't going to be a physical one that you're thinking of as a pig, where you have to be aggressive. You got to be cunning to figure out how to navigate your enemy year, especially when you're facing the snake. And lastly, you have to look at your life path number and your personal year number. If you can get those two interlocked to understand what they want from you in that given year, like I said, if you're a life path 7 and a 9 year, be even more intellectual, even more philosophical, even more patient, even more low key, even more steadfast to do different things. But then also be somebody who's not exposing your plan to anybody, right? And then look at your personal year. What personal year are you in? Are you in a year that you're supposed to be like in a 1 year where you're starting new things, even though it's a universal 9 year, you can still do it. Your personal year outweighs it. Or are you in like a 7 personal year where you should be extremely low key and you're in your enemy year anyways? So you got to be extra low key, right? So it all differentiates between each person, what the algorithm wants from you. That's why some people have okay enemy years, some people have really bad ones. And then of course you guys should know, last but not least, is that the Saturn return enemy year is obviously the worst when you turn 29, 30, because that's the year where you have Saturn return, bring back karma. So if you have bad karma, it's going to amplify and affect you in a lot worse way in comparison to another year, like when you're 42, where it's not going to be as bad and you already have more experience as a person as well. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions for me regarding this, just leave it in the comment section. Aside from that, guys, please like, subscribe. Holla, be it for today, guys. Peace.